Thanks for the media anyhow, because you've been putting out very important emergency contact details and other information on your websites and other channels. So thanks for that. It has taken some time for everyone to appreciate just how big and widespread an event this has been. And it hasn't finished yet. Severe damage has occurred in all parts of our region. The downpour was by far the biggest in our history. It was well beyond what even our emergency people either imagined or planned for. We're all in this together. On Saturday, Sunday and today I've been visiting communities in West Auckland, South Auckland, Central Auckland and the North Shore, and I've seen the communities rise to the occasion. And even after these visits, I've still seen only a portion of the impact Aucklanders have endured. And I've only seen a small part of the community spirit and heroism of our emergency services, our council staff, volunteers and neighbours. 4 people have died. Their friends and families are grieving and in everybody's minds. It underlines the fact that this was downpour that none of us had ever seen before or even imagined. And as the Prime Minister has said, this is climate change. And I agree with him. I'd like to thank the Prime Minister for his support. Yesterday I asked him for more senior NEMA, that's National Emergency Management Agency, communications staff to ensure that we do better and benefit from this experience, especially in Christchurch. The Prime Minister has told me that whatever we need, we'll get, and he promptly made those 2 people available. National Emergency Management staff were in our command centre, helping make all the decisions and recommendations right from the start and Friday afternoon. They were there. More resources have been forthcoming. To again update on the numbers, at 11 o'clock this morning there were already over 400 households requiring assistance. 500 Aucklanders have requested accommodation assistance. Over 60 people last night had to stay in our emergency accommodation, and another 80 had been moved into other emergency accommodation. There are 40 properties that have been red placarded already, and I've seen some of them. 72 stormwater staff and 130 building inspectors, who I joined with yesterday, have been out in the field, working hard. We focus on numbers, and the numbers needing assistance will rise before they fall. Numbers are always out of date as soon as they're announced. Let's remember, they're not numbers, they're Aucklanders, families, neighbours. And Aucklanders have risen to the occasion to support them. I want to say to Aucklanders that yes, there have been hiccups, of course. I accept that our communications, including mine and my office, were not good enough, especially on Friday night. And I am commissioning a full, independent review of all the decisions and actions made by everybody taken in the first 24 to 48 hours, including mine and my office, and the agencies. We want recommendations for improvement, and we will act on them. I expect to have more details on that during this week. But my team's current focus and our big worry is that some Aucklanders might think the worst is behind us, but it isn't. This morning the Met Service are telling us to expect 60 to 80 millimetres of rain north of the city, and perhaps 80 to 120 millimetres in localised places. That's nothing like Friday night, but the ground is so saturated and the drains are so full that if anything, it could be more dangerous than even Friday. That's why I've asked emergency authorities to consider advising schools and businesses about staying closed tomorrow. That's why I've asked Minister Hinare, the Minister of Defence, to prepare to bring in the Army to help with things like sandbagging if we need it, and other tasks, just in case, to make sure we're prepared. I know he's in Auckland at the moment and he has offered his assistance, which I appreciate. Councillors and local board members have been doing fantastic work helping out on the ground personally and acting as ears and eyes for me and for the team back in Bledisloe House. With my support, councillors and local board members have been instrumental in making resources get where they are most needed. My thanks to our councillors and local board members in South Auckland. Your hard work meant the Mangere Emergency Hub was up and running and open last night and will remain be at its new location until at least tomorrow morning, depending on what happens tonight. In West Auckland, thanks to councillors for the work in getting the Kelston Centre to stay open for the rest of this week. Here on the North Shore, pressure from Councillor Richard Hills and Tony Van Tonda and her team have been instrumental in getting the clean-up underway faster than it otherwise would have been. Progress may be interrupted a bit tonight if the weather gets worse. But the importance of the clean-up is the message your elected representatives have heard loudest and clearest. That's why I'm announcing some simple ways that Aucklanders can dispose of storm waste from their properties. Effective immediately, Aucklanders can take their storm waste to the nearest closest waste transfer station at no cost. We also have council teams out removing the storm waste that's built up on the footpaths and so on, and where it's safe to do so. I've asked the team to look at other support we can provide with staff from our Parks and Communities Facilities team on standby to help with the clean-up. More details of the big Auckland clean-up will be announced by council officers tomorrow morning at the 8 a.m. briefing. Finally, let me repeat to everyone. Firstly, stay home if you can, or as close to home as possible. Secondly, stay safe, including when driving or anything else. Stay away from areas which might slip, and do not go into flooded waters. You don't know what manhole covers are missing or what other debris may be in there. And third, follow the instructions of the emergency services. So far, I have had no reports of the authorities needing to use the emergency declaration powers I declared on Friday, which says to me that Aucklanders are cooperating voluntarily. Thank you, Auckland, and let's keep it that way.